There are actually a variety of assignments and written tasks to be provided during the course, during the academic year, and that varies slightly between one engineering department to another. I'm going to speak about each one of them separately. I will start by chemical and biological engineering, that is called CPE. And chemical and biological engineering have to write during the year a few assignments, mostly comparing, contrasting, and assessing something. And then, of course, they have to do lab reports. And the other departments, like the EEE, that is electronic and electrical engineering, mainly they do coursework and exams, but they also tend to work towards their final project. And before the final project, they have to prepare an interim report, which differs in structure from the final project report. So basically, both departments do need to do reports, and the main thing is for them to know the structure of general report writing. And lab report is one essential area that they need to be aware of, including the undergraduates. Now we're talking about mainly the MSCs, that's the master students or postgraduates, but undergraduates they do also at a slightly changed or slightly shortened format. Like, for example, talking about the methodology, the results, and the discussion, not including background or something. It depends. The automatic control systems engineering, that is ACC, also have their own way of assessment. They do write assignments. When we talk about the undergraduates tend to do the different types of reflective writing. Sometimes they get a visitor and they will be asked to write a short essay about their impression about it, or they might visit a place and write about it as well. But that the size of the writing is limited. That is the undergraduates. The postgraduates will be assessed differently. And of course, both will have exams, so we are not involved in this. We don't get involved in that one. That is the academic, the EEE, just in case we have undergraduates, EEE means electronic and electrical engineering. For the undergraduates, they have to write also they visit a company or a factory and they have to write reflectively. They also have to write similar tasks about it, so the reflective writing, and then they do labs as well. Now, talking about the forms of work, they also do work in groups as well. Like they do the lab and they present the results. That is at all levels. They do that in a group. So group presentation, group work as well. So that is all in lab. So basically the structure of lab report is an essential thing for them. So a mix of discursive writing and lab report mainly is the way of they are getting assessed. Well, the main issues well, of course, you see, this is actually noticed from the DLC, that is the language coordinator. Of course, because they sit in boards in the department, of course they pass the information to us, then we meet the students. So from my experience, I think mostly related to how to structure their writing. And for example, in the chemical and biological engineering, they get asked to write an essay to compare and contrast. And sometimes they find someone saying, this report reports on. In a way, that is not a report, that is an essay with a certain structure. So basically distinguishing the structure of of the form, the type of writing, is not that is a major issue. The other thing is just the typical problems with referencing and paraphrasing, summarizing. These are, and familiarity with plagiarism and how tough it is, of course. This is the major issue for. Of course, in many cases, in departments where I do undergraduates and postgraduates, I have actually writing advisory sessions for the department itself, where a student, when the student or when a student presents their work, whether it's a lab or an essay, and the marker, his tutor possibly, or the marker, finds that the language level is low, they actually direct them toward me, and they just say, okay, go and see Muneer. Of course, that is organized in a way so we can actually look at the work and give advice based on that one. Yes, in each department they have reading lists, and I think in this summer school coming, we managed to obtain from the departments reading lists for each level, for each group as well. I mean, undergraduates and postgraduates, and they insist that students are not advised to buy any materials to save cost. They are available, they are free, and nobody, when we suggest reading materials, we are not recommending any book to be bought, and they are available on mall as well. So they will be available for definitely for each department. Again, speaking is actually a skill that the students need, and that will be used at various levels. Now, students, definitely any student will have a tutor. When they go and talk to their tutor, that is definitely a necessity. Now, the other thing they do, in particular for at MS level, that's the MSc level, that's the master, they have to do presentations. Even at undergraduate, they do presentations. They need to be fluent in this and presenting their ideas and research and sharing the ideas. The other thing, they do posters in chemical and biological engineering. They do posters, and they actually need to communicate with visitors or colleagues to explain their research, to report the idea. Now, I personally get involved in preparing the PhD students of the ACSE, that's the Automatic and Control Systems Engineering, because you see, PhD students go to conferences and write seminars, and when they go and share, they need to have the skills of agreeing, disagreeing, communicating their ideas, etc. So actually, I tend to ask them for a meeting, discuss what requirements they like to have, prepare materials, and run the DLS sessions based on their requirements. So at every level that is handled, we try to give them as much as we can. So that is the speaking. Of course, the contact with the tutor is the main thing to just to either raise a concern or ask for a clarification, etc., etc. So basically, this is how we do it. In most of the engineering departments, I think I would say most of the students do the T at the beginning. So in the T, that is the technical English assessment, and that identifies weaknesses in the academic practice they do, like writing a summary, just doing a piece of writing, or actually listening. For example, last year in Automatic Control and Systems Engineering, they found out that many of the students have difficulty in their listening skills. So we actually added listening sessions too. In Triple E, that's Electronic and Electrical Engineering. That has been going on for a long time for all levels. We start with listening to lectures and note taking. They insist on this. Students need to have this. Of course, we focus later on paraphrasing and summarizing and presentations as well. So there is a mix of academic skills that they do require. And that's shared by all the departments where I teach. I think these details are clearly posted on MOL, and they are given to them, and they are easily accessible. So students shouldn't worry much about it, but it would be a good idea to listen, because in many cases I get given the materials, hard copies of the materials, by the DLC, that's the Departmental Language Coordinator, to make sure that the students have hands-on the materials, but they are clearly filed and found, and can be easily found on the website to each department, of each department. We have actually a very long list of support for the students who come to the university, and I can list to start with. When they go to the department will organize what we call Departmental Language Support, and then we, like myself and my colleagues, go to the department and do classes for them. And those classes are a combination of what the department feel that the students require, and what me as a teacher and the students themselves, they have a say in that. So the combination will be what we do in the Departmental Language Support. Now, the other support they get, actually, the ELTC provides a massive service, which is English language support, where students enroll in variety of classes. They include speaking and listening, reading and writing, grammar and pronunciation, and dissertation writing. They can apply for 2 classes during a term, and that is repeated in the second term as well. And they are all for free, so no charge on that one. The only thing is actually, and they are run at different times, so the students will have choice. The other valuable service that students should not ignore is the writing advisory, where students actually can book an appointment online and bring a sample of their work to the ELTC tutors, where they can actually have a look and give them guidance on that one. This is another a free one, valuable free. And my advice to students that when applying to the writing advisory, because this is open to all students regardless of nationality, home students and international students, they need to plan ahead, think about, because this is a very popular service. And then, of course, when they book an appointment, they need to also either come to the appointment on time or apologize, cancel on time, to allow other colleagues, because we usually have a long waiting list. This has been one of the most popular services and beneficial for the students. So, because they writing in English is difficult for many non-native speakers, and they need to be aware of the code, the way, the type, the genre, or I would say the type of writing. So in this session, which is for 1 hour, they will have excellent support. Of course, we usually tend to give guidance on structure, on language. We don't get involved in content, and that is for the benefit of both parties, the student and the teacher and the department as well. So in my opinion, this is a very valuable service that they should be looking at, and they can be found on the ELTC website by going to language support, and then they can go each drop or I would call it list will guide them easily just to go to Departmental Language Support or Writing Advisory. They will follow the instructions and easily followed. One other important support that the students can expect, if they are married, if the student is a male married to a female, the male student is the student, then his wife can go to Partners English for free. They also help them in actually providing nursery for their children. This is not a joke, it is true. Whenever I say that, the students, they start laughing. If the lady is married, her husband can go to free classes as well. So I think we have also dyslexia support. And that is very obvious and very clear, very close to university as well. So all these details can be found on the ELTC website.